Yeah, talk to me. How are you finding this car, this track, generally driving?
To be honest with you, I've always picked the Ferrari.
Mm.
When we decided on the endurance um, team that we were
Yeah.
setting up. Insisted. I went for the Ferrari because it's the one that I feel most comfortable in,
Sure.
and I think it's one that a lot of people are able to drive by just dropping into it and taking off.
Yeah.
So me personally, I find the Ferrari almost like a comfort blanket.
Yeah.
It's mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, and I'm able to control the car. I've tried the BMW and things like that, and I just can't get on with them at all.
Yeah.
So I prefer this car.
Nice. I mean, in terms of myself, I've only just starting to dip into GT3. Like, obviously, for coaching wise, like everyone wants to learn the GT3. So I'm
Yes.
like starting to learn it, but obviously, like I've only learned the Ferrari. So outside of that, I know nothing. But yeah, what I'll get you to is jump out on track, run a few laps. If you could share your screen on Discord as well,
Of
because
course.
I can spectate through the iRacing UI, but by
Yeah,
screen sharing, I also see your throttle and brake traces.
that's fine. Give me a second.
Yeah, I've got you. Perfect.
Yeah. Is
Do
that all
you
right?
have, yeah, do you have any like eye overlay stuff, or do you?
I do. Yeah. Give me a second.
No worries. If it's, it might be if you're like sharing iRacing rather than the screen that I can't see the eye overlay stuff.
Right. I overlays on.
Okay, could you put on like a throttle and brake
Uh,
telemetry trace?
Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. If you run that through, was that SimHub doing up
It
there?
is. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you run that through SimHub, then don't worry about having the eye overlay stuff on unless you want it on. Uh, it's very super useful to be able to see like when you're getting a throttle and things like that.
Right. In fact, there's a limit there, so that's fine. That should have the. Give me a second. If I go
Oh
out.
yeah, the thing on the right, this is fine. This is fine. This is all we need. Perfect. So yeah, go for it.
See, that's got a throttle and a brake on it.
Yeah, the other one
Yep.
look. Oh no, no, this is fine actually. Yeah, this is fine. I can see it. Perfect. So yeah, go for it. Just take a few laps, build up to it.
Okay.
Drive how you normally would. So just for the out lap, we'll just talk through a little bit. Can you still hear me all right over the engine sounds, or do you need to adjust?
I can. Yes.
So yeah, what do you feel like is the biggest challenge or like the biggest barrier stopping you? Going faster, or being more consistent, like what do you struggle with the most?
Just give me a second. I'm just gonna see if I can up the volume on Discord.
Yeah, no worries. It's always the way. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
think
alright.
for whatever reason my mic is also like a bit quiet, and I'm not sure. Like I've maxed it out on my side, but
No, that's fine.
it seems to be like a common thing. I don't know why.
That should be better. Oh,
Yeah, perfect.
stream still in. What's that for? What's the previous sim resources?
Yeah, so what is
Ah, right, good. That's fine. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is one, bravery.
Yeah.
I'm not quite as brave as maybe I should be going to corners and things like that. But also probably just a basic awareness of not what gears to take in corners, but you know, getting it maybe slowed down. I think I have a tendency to get on the power a bit too early and things like that.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because I was looking over your telemetry like just before we came on, and that I think is going to be the big thing is getting that. So I'll let you drive these laps and I'll see what I can see here as well. But
No worries.
I'll mostly be quiet now. I'll let you just get So yeah, just park it up somewhere. It's a good 3 laps to finish it on. The last 3 laps were all mid 24s, so very
Yeah.
nice.
So I'm fairly consistent with what I can do. I'm just going to turn the volume down just a little bit when the engine sounds really sort of
Rounding me out.
yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. No worries.
Should be alright.
Yeah,
now.
go on, you're saying.
Yeah, sorry. As you can see, I'm fairly consistent with what I'm doing, and once I get the line and once I get into a rhythm, it's not too bad. But if I just overstep my personal sort of comfort zone, then I'm struggling against off tracks,
Yeah.
and then I tend to back it off, and then I'm too conservative.
Yeah, no worries. I think the overstepping your personal limit and things like this, I wouldn't even look at it that way. Like, it's with the way you're driving,
Yeah,
like the mid 24s or like wherever you find that level is, the car is on the limit when you're driving. Like, you're not driving under the limits, like you're handling the car on the limit really well.
yeah,
And the next step isn't like bravery and drive harder and just somehow be more accurate while doing the same things. It's like changing some of the driving habits to increase that limit, basically, because you can drive really well on the limit of grip.
yeah.
We just need to do some things to increase that limit of grip and then still drive with the same level of bravery, let's say.
Right.
So I will share my screen. I think I'm sharing iRacing at the moment.
Yeah,
Perfect. So you should be able to see your car,
I
right?
can. Yes.
Brilliant. Right. So first thing,
Excuse me.
really minor, not even hardly worth talking about, but it's going to take 2 seconds, so I'll
Yeah.
point it out. So in some of the braking zone, or like specifically here, you like dart over to the left-hand side at the last second,
Yeah.
and it just gives you like less time to pick your braking marker and get to the right point on track. Like,
Yes.
for me, if you can get over to where you want to be sooner, so that like the only focus in your mind going into the braking zone is like the braking and getting the rotation and all that,
Yeah.
it'll be a little bit easier. Like, it's a minor fix. We don't even need to work on it for the rest of the session. It's just I'll point it out and then you'll notice it and you'll go away and you'll do that. So that's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
The main thing I want to talk about in this session, which I think is going to give you the most time. So I'm going to pick your 24 free. So you should be able to see Garage 61 now,
I
right?
can. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. I'll put in one of my laps. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to run some laps myself, by the way. Like, normally I try
No,
and
that's fine. No problem.
run some laps first, so we got like a good comparison. But I've set up the session with like track temperatures and all of that the same as they've been in like GT3 fixed for this
Yeah.
week.
Right.
So like my lap time will be comparable conditions.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing I
You have to
noticed in your
excuse me. I've got a bit of a cold, so if I start.
Yeah, no
coughing out-
worries, no worries. Yeah, one thing I noticed in your practice sessions, like when you're doing your offline testing,
Yeah.
you had like a variety of conditions. So the track temperature was sometimes like 10 degrees hotter and things like that.
Yeah. I
so
think
it's
that's
well
probably
worth-
because I had just hopped into like a test session.
Yeah. So you definitely want to, like, when you're practicing, try and keep everything consistent, because otherwise, or at least like be aware of the changing track temperature, so that
Right.
you're not trying to drive to the same lap time and wondering why like it's
Yeah.
suddenly so
I
much
think that's
harder or
yeah. I
so
think
much
that's some of my problems. The fact that I'm trying to do the same lap times on a 50-degree lap
Yeah,
time, not lap time.
exactly. Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, definitely like drive to how the track feels rather than like, and I do the same, like stubbornly thinking, well, I should be able to set the same lap time.
Yeah.
If it feels harder, there's a reason why it's harder, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so your lap is the red, mine is the blue. I guess you know a bit about telemetry. You've at least like seen and looked a little bit.
Yeah,
or
I've
is
looked into
fairly
it.
new?
It confuses the hell out of me, but I
It's
have
new.
looked at it. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so I don't know the corner names, but this one coming onto like the long back straight.
Yeah.
This I think is like the main thing that we should work on for the session. So like the top line is the speed. So you're red, I'm blue.
Yeah.
And you can see like our speed on corner entry is really similar. Like you're clearly trail braking well. You're getting good rotation out of the car.
Yeah.
All of that's really good. Like, and that's the harder stuff to nail. So the fact that you're already like perfect on entry speed is brilliant. What really hurts you is exactly what you said. You get on throttle early. Also, actually, like on throttle while you're still on the brake a little bit.
Ah,
Like
right,
you can
okay.
see, this one is the brake. This is throttle.
Yeah.
So you're like still trail braking and trying to get on throttle at the same time.
Right.
So two things. One, when you get on throttle, obviously like you're shifting the weight of the car backwards.
Yeah.
So you're taking weight away from the front. So you're not able to turn so directly. You're not getting so much rotation because you don't have so much front grip basically.
Yeah.
So if the car feels really understeery in the mid corner, like in general, the Ferrari is understeery in the mid corner, but it'll be even more understeery if you're trying to get on throttle too early.
Yeah.
So you really want to be patient to get the rotation through the corner. And then the second thing, like when you actually start to get on throttle, you also are just like a little bit impatient. You want to get the power down really quickly.
Yeah.
But what it means is it takes you longer to reach full throttle.
Right.
So you're robbing yourself of some rotation in the mid corner, and you're also taking longer to get on throttle. So like you see, the only difference in our traces really worth talking about is the exit speed. So I'm more patient on the throttle,
Yeah.
waiting until I can like confidently apply the throttle and get up to 100%. Like I need a little lift here. But ideally the throttle trace should always be like you hit the throttle when you can smoothly and like progressively reach 100%. In these cars, like you need a little bit. It can't just be smash it like it would be in a
Yeah.
MX-5 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it wants to be smoothly increasing and always increasing. Like you never want to have to dip. So the main thing to work on, like in all corners, is just going to be real patience on the throttle and waiting until you can like progressively reach 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, it should also be easier to handle on the exit because like where you're getting on power so early, like if you look at the steering, when you're getting on power, you're still increasing the steering angle. So yours is can you see this all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so like because you're getting on throttle and cranking more steering angle, like the likelihood of like having the back end kick out when you're getting on power is higher.
Yeah. Because I'm
Or the
still
likelihood
steering
of
into the corner.
understeering because you're shifting the like it makes it harder to control the car. So like for comparison, my trace, like you see where I'm getting on throttle,
Yeah.
that's like for a moment it's right at like the peak steering angle, but then as soon as I'm getting on throttle, the more I'm getting on throttle, the more I'm trying to like unwind the steering back to straight. And
Yeah.
if you try to get on throttle too early in the corner, you're not going to be able to not going to be able to unwind the steering
Yeah.
because you've still got like a lot of the corner to get round, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the main thing really, and I think the exit speed will thank you massively. So is that all clear? Any questions?
No. No. That's clear from, like I say, what you're saying there, and the graph clearly shows
Yeah.
all the inputs and what have you. So yeah, I can see that.
Nice, perfect. So what I'll get you to jump back out on track. You're still sharing, all good. So the main focus, like I say, is just going to be being really patient on the throttle, like way more patient than you think you need to be. So you can like progressively reach 100%, and then as you're increasing the steering angle, focus on like as you're increasing the throttle, focus on unwinding the steering. Have you got a button mapped to flick up like the session best lap time delta?
I haven't. No. I
Do you wanna, yeah, park up and do that because like it'll be really good to see. Because the idea is you're going to be carrying so much more speed on the exit, so to like visually have that showing is going to be really good.
Right, so,
I think it's option. Yeah, so yeah.
Is it comparison lap? Oh no.
No, it's a
session best lap, isn't it?
lap. Yeah.
Right. That's fine. So that should show now anyway, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should do.
Wherever it goes. Give me a second.
No worries.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Put that.
That's fine. And it should pop up with the delta bar up the top somewhere, so it should be.
If I put that there,
Once you get running. Yeah.
that should be perfect.
Yeah, go for it. I'd say it's always worth having like at least when you're practicing, having the session best delta up, because then if you're changing things with how you're driving, you can see exactly like in real time how it's influencing the lap time. Really patient through here. Yeah, good.
You know, what I find is that when I've had the bar up before, I tend to beat the bar, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you try to overdrive just to beat it, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't, if you can, like, try and not do this, but just, all we want it here for is, like, when you get a good exit and you're, like, patient on the throttle, just to see how much that influences the bar. We don't, like, especially where we're changing something and you're driving, we're not necessarily expecting to go faster over the lap, because you have to think more about it, so it's going to be harder to begin with.
No, I understand that.
But I realise it's like impossible to avoid sometimes. Yeah, really patient. So you had to dip it back off a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, nice. So remember to unwind the steering. You've got like a tiny little snap there, so you just want to like consciously, as you increase the throttle, like unwind the steering obviously as much as you can with
Yeah.
but... Yeah, nice. Look at the delta there. Yeah, a little bit more patient maybe. But yeah, maybe not. Let's look at that again. Yeah, good patience, really good patience. Yeah, good. Yeah, nice. Picked up an off track, but even so, so you
Yeah.
faster. You're nailing it now. You're getting it.
Actually feels more controlled as well.
Yeah. Like the whole exit phase just becomes easier. Yeah, really good. Yeah, really nice. Another good lap. We've got one more, and then we'll. So just a little bit. I think the point you got on throttle there was fine. You just needed to unwind the steering a little bit more.
Yeah. No.
Don't worry. Damage is off, but we can stop there. Just
No worries.
run it round. Yeah. So, talk to me. How does it feel? What do you feel like was the? It's obviously like lap time improved.
Yeah.
Small amount, but there's more to find. But what felt like it made the difference? Was it the getting on throttle later? Was it unwinding the steering consciously, or a combination?
I think it was a little bit of both, but mainly the throttle. Because I was being more patient on the throttle as I was coming out the corner. It was more controlled, so I wasn't thinking the back end was going to come out all the time.
Yeah.
So I was able to feel more confident with getting the power down and not taking my foot off the accelerator when I did
Yeah.
do. I think that was the biggest thing.
For sure, because like you're waiting a little bit longer in the corner, so the car's already more pointed towards the exit, so there's less steering to do while you're getting on throttle.
Yeah.
And then also you're not robbing yourself of the rotation in the mid corner. So you picked it up like super well and super quickly. There's more time to find in that, but I just wanted to get your like thoughts initially on like what
Yeah.
it was causing it. So yeah, the combination of both is definitely strong. I'm gonna quickly pull up the telemetry because like we could just spend the rest of the session like absolutely nailing this, but I think you've picked it up so quickly that we may as well like look for a couple more pointers
Yeah.
and then give you as much information as possible to go away and work on yourself.
Yeah,
But
brilliant.
already like okay, fine. So your best lap was a 24.3, 24.35 for argument's sake, and down to a 24.2 for argument's sake. So like a tenth and a half, but also like the last two laps were like both better than your best, and hopefully more controllable, and hopefully like less spinning up the rears, so better tyre wear and just everything good.
That's it. Yes, I do find that if I obviously you get overheated tyres, and that then perpetuates itself into less corner speed, less coming out the corners and anything like that, and I'm spinning the rears, so that perpetuates into even hotter tyres, which then decreases the lap times again, and
it's so easy to do and so hard to manage. But yeah, like the less you have to juggle the throttle, obviously, like the better it's going to be.
Yeah, ever
And just from a
decreasing
consistency
circles.
point of view as well. Yeah, exactly. Right, I will share my screen. I don't actually know what the next thing we should work on is, so I'm going to take a look at the telemetry.
That's fine.
And we'll go from there.
There we go. I see it again now.
Yeah, you got it, yeah?
Yeah, got it.
Perfect. Yeah, I had a session with I think your teammate yesterday, and like
Mark, yeah.
yeah, for the like I said, I don't normally drive GT3, but I want to learn because obviously for coaching it's
Yeah.
important to be able to drive GT3. So I like spent the whole week like getting to grips with brands in this car. And like for the first time I could actually like enjoy driving GT3 and feel like I was on
Good.
the pace that I can be in other
Yeah.
cars. So it was really nice.
You have actually got my son as well. I think he's booked on as well.
Yes. Yeah.
James.
Well, later today,
So,
right? Yeah.
yeah, he's about a second and a half quicker than me, James.
Okay, nice. So yeah, so he'll be probably similar level to Mark then I imagine.
I would think so, yeah.
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 Nice.
He's a Regan Meister. He loves the rain for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. It's good fun once you know like the lines and everything. But
Yeah.
the thing I always find like I'm a lap behind the like when the track's drying, I'm always like one lap behind working out
Yes.
where the pace is.
Yeah. I just close my eyes and hope for the best.
Yeah, rain is a whole other thing, isn't it?
Oh
But it's
yes.
brilliant on iRacing. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Uh, right, we'll take the same corner. So already so much better. Like we should probably actually let's throw in your lap from before. So we can get like a live comparison. Okay, nice. So purple is your 24.3, 24.4
Yeah.
from earlier in the session. So already like you can see a huge improvement. So like here you're on throttle so early,
Yeah.
uh, and you're already shifting it perfectly. So blue is your new best lap.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll say is like it's already so much better, but it can be a little bit better still. So like if you look at it's getting a bit muddled here, isn't it? So let's go to that. Steering wise, you're getting on throttle and you're still having to crank like a little bit more steering. So you still need to wait a little bit longer. Basically, like you don't want to have to be increasing the steering angle when getting on power,
Yes.
or like while you're on power. So already though, infinitely better. Like it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And then okay, entry speed's a little bit slower, but like it's normal when you're having to think so much about the exits. Like
Yeah.
naturally, some things are going to be slower. Let's take a little look. Yeah, I think this is going to be the good thing. So I still want to keep focusing on exit, but and like exit speed. But the conscious thing to think about now is like not having to increase the steering angle when you get back on power. So like in some instances you do it, like here it's fine. You're
Yeah.
not increasing the steering angle,
Yeah.
but just having that in your mind. Oh yeah, you're. Oh no, I was looking at me there. So yeah, you're like you're still like a little bit impatient.
Yeah.
Uh, it's mostly this first phase. Like you have a tendency to get like 5-10% on throttle too early,
Yeah.
uh, and you've shifted it down massively. So like if we pull back this lap, like so purple was your previous lap.
Yeah.
Look at how much you're on power. So like you're still a little bit eager,
Yeah.
but so much better. So really focus on like not applying any throttle until you're confident you can get fully on throttles. Like
So it's
here
almost
as
you
well. Like,
coasting through the corner, and then at the end of the corner, when you're ready to
yes,
flatten out, that's when you hit the accelerator.
yeah, for sure. So like the thing that everyone says, which is true, is like you should either be braking or you should be on throttle because like any coasting is wasted time,
Got you.
and that is true, but only to a point. Like if you finish the braking, what are we looking at? So you finish the braking at the good point. Or no, you actually trail the brake a little bit longer on your best lap. And again, this is the thing to watch out for as well. Like you're braking and on throttle.
Yeah.
So there is probably a way. What kind of setup are you running?
Set up
Like
as in pedals and what have you.
PC,
Right.
not PC, rig, wheel, pedals, that kind of thing.
Right. I have a rock solid RSR 21,
Yeah.
which was Dave Cam's. James
Oh,
won it
nice.
from Dave Cam.
Amazing, yeah.
And then pedals wise, I'm running actually. Well, the whole setup is Simagic.
Yeah.
So I've got a Simagic Alpha, and
Yeah.
it's got P2000 pedals
Nice. Yeah.
up to 200 kilos.
Yeah. Brilliant. Do you have any kind of bass shakers or like vibration
I
knobs on the
have on the
pedals?
brakes. I have one heptic motor
Yeah.
for the ABS.
Sure. So, not for this session, but generally just to try it out at one point. I think it'd be interesting to, like in SimHub or somewhere, configure something so that if you're on throttle and on brake at the same time, you get some kind of feedback, whether it's haptic,
Oh,
whether it's
okay.
like visual, just to like make a very clear, oh, here's where I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
I think in SimHub it would probably have to be like a custom formula or something. Like I can, if you know how to do that stuff, I can you can just go away and do it. If not, I can let you know.
If you would please, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah. I'll sort that out after the session at some point. But yeah,
Cool.
like just some kind of visual reminder. It depends. Like if you're very easily able to like realize now that I've pointed it out and then like just shooting that out completely, then it's not an issue. But if it's like a persistent thing,
Yeah.
then having some kind of like visual or haptic way of identifying that will make it easier.
Just
to
give it
correct.
it gives it a bit of an assistance.
For sure. But yeah, and so back out on track, the focus is like not getting this 5-10% throttle. So, sorry, I kind of didn't quite finish what I was saying. So
That's all right.
brake and throttle, like ideally you never want to have this coasting period because it's wasted time.
Yeah.
But that's only when you're like really trying to find the last little bit of time. It would be better here to have like a little bit of coasting so the car like gets the rotation that it needs rather than like throbbing this tiny bit here.
Yeah.
To then be more confident to get on throttle. So like even my lap, so I'm red. There is like there is some coasting time, right? So it's small. It's like 10 meters.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid of like a little bit of coasting just to allow yourself to confidently get on the throttle because you do it really well, but you can just do it a little bit better.
Yeah.
And like it's hard because like you're juggling the corner and like you feel like you're gonna go wide. So like it's super understandable to have these points where like you're not able to get up to 100%, but the focus wants to be on trying to perfect it as much as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, back out on track. Focus should be only getting on power when you don't have to crank more steering angle, let's say, because I think that will force you to necessarily like get on power even later. So yeah, once you don't have to add any more steering angle, get on power and try to cut out the little 5% throttle that you do a little bit early.
Right, no problem.
See, that was too long maintaining like 10%.
Yeah, I'm just
Yep.
this time a bit out lap. I'm just tired one, so
Yeah,
not skid off.
no worries. Yeah. What you may also find as well is like if you're used to getting on throttle a little bit early, you'll be over slowing ever so slightly on corner entry.
Yeah.
So you may feel like you're just slightly under the limit on entry, because whereas before you'd be like increasing the speed at that point, you're now not.
Right.
So it's fine to feel that way to begin with. It's not that you need to be getting back on throttle, it's just that once you get used to the idea of getting on throttle later, you'll just realise there's a tiny bit more time to find, and you can be a tiny bit more aggressive on the braking and feel that with just like higher corner entry speed,
Yeah.
rather than getting back on the throttle. Yeah, good patience. See here, like it feels a little bit slow in the mid corner, but it's just because you're used to getting on power earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Really good. Yeah, really good. There was a little bit of overlap of braking throttle there,
Yeah.
but even so, really good. That is into the 23s.
Bloody hell.
So remember to unwind the steering as you get on
Yeah.
down. Yeah, good.
Oh, a bit quick in, a bit off.
Yeah, just a little bit early on the apex.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
Again, just consciously unwinding the steering, because you had so much more track on exit that you could use. You just tried to keep it a little bit tight.
yeah.
A little bit too early. You had to wait at like 20% throttle.
Yeah.
It may be that it's because you feel like you're like going a little bit too slow, like I say, on entry.
Possibly.
But it's worth sort of, at least in the practice session, accepting that you're a little bit slow, because then you can, if you get on power there, you mask the fact that you could have carried more speed on entry. Whereas if you're still deliberately patient and you like deliberately feel slow through the mid corner,
Yeah.
and then still get on throttle at the same point, then come the next lap you'll be like, okay, I was a little bit slow here, I can carry more speed on entry, rather than not noticing it if you get on power early. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
think there was a little bit of overlap of braking and throttle again there.
That's one corner I really do struggle with on this track.
Mm.
I think everybody does because of the camber and things like that, but
Yeah, it was really committed. It's like a blind apex pretty much as well. And it's,
yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, nice. Be careful with that like 10% throttle movement sometimes. But on 10% a little bit early,
Yeah.
and you just have to hold that for a little bit of time. Yeah, good. Really good. Yeah, nice. Yeah, brilliant. Hold the trail braking a little bit deeper into that corner to get the rotation.
Yeah. I noticed I was a little bit fast into there, which caused me not to be able to turn in properly and then get power on.
Yeah, you're a little bit fast because you came off the brakes a little bit too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. That was much more. You didn't do the little 10% thing, so it was really
Yeah. I noticed that what I did then was I double braked.
Ah, so you came off and
I
then had to
came
come
off
back
the
on.
brake and realised I was going too fast, double braked.
Yeah. Mm.
That's something else I find I do as well. I think I braked enough, then realised I
Yeah.
haven't,
Yeah.
and I have to go for another snatch. And it's like,
Mm.
that's when I start not overdriving, but I start, then I'm too fast at the corner, and that's when we're off tracks.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
where they come in.
Mm. So I'd say in that kind of situation where you feel like you've slowed down enough and then you realise you haven't, just control the modulation of the brake. So don't come off, but just ease off. Like,
Yeah.
try to make it less aggressive and just, yeah. It's okay to, it's not ideal to lift off and then have to come back on a bit more, but
Yeah.
if you do it to less of a degree, like decreasing the brake 5% and then having to come back up 5%, the effect will be less, like the risk of going off track.
Yeah, definitely.
And generally, like it's fine to modulate the braking, especially when you're trial braking, because at that point it's not so much for slowing down in speed, it's for rotation. So if you feel like you haven't got as much rotation as you want, then it's super fine to like apply a little bit more brake to get that extra rotation, and likewise if you're getting too much rotation, just lifting off the brake to shift the balance back to understeer. If that all makes sense, like
It does,
your
yeah.
trail braking is spot on, so I'm assuming you like generally know what you're doing with the trail braking. But yeah.
Oh. Nope. Unwind the
Just
steering.
again, yeah, a little bit of unwinding the steering. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got it. You know exactly what you're doing now. Now you just it just takes time to really commit it to muscle memory, but you're already smashing it, to be honest.
That feels better off that corner there.
Yeah. I didn't see, but I imagine it's because you didn't do the 10% thing. Yeah, really good. Really good. Yeah, you can unwind the steering a little bit more.
Yep.
Okay, let's park it up. Let's go fresh set of boots for the final,
No problem.
like 5-10 minutes, and see what we can do with those. But yeah, how did it feel in this section? Was there like this stint? Was it anything you were doing differently, or mostly just building on what we talked about in the first stint, or
I think building up what we've already talked about, but also what I find is that because I'm concentrating more on what we're doing, although I'm not really concentrating on the delta. I do obviously see it, but I'm conscious now that I'm in the low 124s, whereas before I was in the high 124s, 25s. Now I'm actually sort of like disappointed when I'm not in the 123s.
Yeah,
it's that sort of that
always
mentality
more,
now that because
more.
I've done a 124 or 123,
You should be able to do it all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a bit of managing expectations, because it is always the case that when you try to overdrive, you will be slower. So like it's a mental game, and like for you, maybe the best bet like outside of this session is to keep the delta off, so
Yes.
you're not thinking about it. But yeah, like hopefully you see, like at the start of the session you were saying, you sometimes you overdrive, and you like when you push too hard to try and maintain your best lap times, you end up going off the track. So by the fact that you've now been able to get like a 123, and generally like your good laps are in the low 124s, hopefully it shows that like the way to get faster isn't just to like overdrive and be more precise with the same methods. It's to adjust the methods. So generally in practice, like you want to try and change something, not like if you just try to do exactly what you're doing better, that's gonna be fine up to a point. But then especially like the top times, I think around here, like, and this isn't something I can even get near, but like I think mid 125, mid 121s, like 121.6, something like that. For you and for me, like I'm still a second off that. I don't think the answer is just like do everything more perfect. It's okay, they're doing something fundamentally different, so it's working out what that is. So like very clearly, like getting on the throttle later helps you, and you don't have to drive any harder. You just have to with a different technique. So yeah. All right, go for it. Fresh set of boots.
Fresh set of boots. No problem.
Yeah. And yeah, generally for this last stint, try not to think too consciously about what we've talked about. Just drive how you naturally want to drive, and use these things to your advantage, but without like really having to think about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no problem.
your tyres. Oh, nice
Well,
pit entrance.
I'll just start that again.
Yeah.
That's one way of getting in there, I suppose.
Yeah.
I just came because I was on the gas a little bit previous coming out of that last corner.
Hmm.
Full tyres.
Yeah. And don't worry about trying to overdrive. Don't consciously try to beat the 23 line, because as soon as you start overdriving, you rob yourself of the chance to be able to beat it. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Just smooth laps, nailing the braking points, nailing the apexes, unwinding the zero exit, and see what you can do. We'll go 2 more laps. Then we'll call it back. Yeah, really nice.
Just gone on the power a little bit early then.
But the good thing is you're spotting it. It's like now you know that it's a thing, you'll be able to correct it.
Yeah.
And look at that, another two. So you
Another
took
two
like
attempts.
2 attempts back to back on those laps. So yeah, that's the perfect place to end it. That last lap was a 23.6.
Wow.
So you're not far off that second that your son's faster than you now. So
I am not. Yeah. Just
Probably
make sure you
some
don't
coaching
take in one of the
this
second
afternoon,
off his
so-
time as well.
sorry.
I said
Sorry,
just
say that
make sure you don't take another second off his time
Yeah.
as well.
Well, the
Wow.
the more the lap times come down, the obviously the harder it is to find the same amount of time,
Yes.
so you can be safe.
Yes,
But-
definitely.
But yeah, that was cracking. Like the last 2 laps, both in the 23s.
Brilliant.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Thank you very much.
No worries. How did it feel? Was it as
So
hopefully
much
it
more
was-
controlled.
Yes,
Even though it's
yeah.
quicker, it's like it's over a second and a half quicker than what I was doing before. It's so much more controlled because the car, as I'm coming out the corner, the car sits.
Yeah.
Whereas before I was accelerating and overcorrecting and things, the car just sits, squats and goes.
Yeah. Excellent. That's the dream is faster and easier, right? So the fact that we've smashed that is brilliant.
That was brilliant.
You did mega.
That was brilliant.
Awesome. All right, I will type up in the chat like after the session like what we went through, just so you can
Brilliant.
revisit it if you ever forget. But hopefully you won't forget because you've seen how much better it's now. Obviously, like it's without seeing you're driving in other cars, it's applicable to everything.
Yeah, of course.
Especially in this car or like in the higher power cars because, like you say, the rear end kicks out. But yeah, I'll type that up. I'll let you know like the details if you ever want to book a session in the future, stuff like that.
Brilliant.
And we'll go from there.
Do
I
you-
think if you could let your
Go
go
on.
on.
Go on, sorry.
If you could let your son know to double check Discord, because I think I should have sent him a request, but I don't think he's got it yet.
He's absolutely useless. He's a typical teenager. Absolutely
No worries.
bleeding useless.
Yeah.
I will kick his
Yeah.
backside and get him sorted.
No worries. If he doesn't see the request or something's gone wrong on my side, just drop me a message and we'll work it out.
We will
Yeah,
do, no
go on,
problem. Questions. Do you have any sort of advertising logos and things like that?
Nothing at the moment. Like at the moment, it's super basic. So like
Right.
in the future, I want to create a website, all of that. But at the moment, I'm just putting in the hours coaching.
Right.
I've got Fiverr is the only thing, but yeah, nothing like that. I do need to like get someone to do me a livery or something. So like when I go into practice sessions, I can at least run my own livery and stuff like that. But yeah,
Well, when I tell you now, because obviously you've done this for free. I do our own liveries. I've done liveries for all sorts of people in the league and what have you. So please, if you want something doing,
yeah.
give me a crack at it
No
first,
worries.
and I will do it.
Might as well drop you a message. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Just
good for now,
when
so
you've
I'm
got your
trying
logos and things like that.
Yeah.
Just let me have
Brilliant.
bits and bats. I'll put them on our cars as well.
Excellent.
Because it's worth, because of what obviously you've done this for us. It's brilliant. As a team,
Really appreciate
we really
it,
appreciate it.
Excellent. Yeah. I'll drop all the details in chat and we'll
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
did mega, man. Like to take that much time and to like adapt so quickly. Like
Brilliant.
I tell you, and 2 laps later, you've smashed it. So
Well, thank you very much.
Brilliant.
It's been brilliant.
no worries. Cheers, man.
All right,
I'll,
you take care.
Speak to you around.
All
Yeah,
right,
bye.
cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye.